So in today's education news, no more inadequate one-word Ofsted rulings could be ditched. Yep, those one-word judgments, which we know as educators are reductive, pointless, and in lots of cases can be quite toxic, are likely to be scrapped. The government will announce it's open to replacing the system, which many parents latch onto as a key measure. Do they? Do they? I don't know. Parents, do you? Maybe that's it. I mean, I'm not so sure. I didn't with the schools I've checked because I know how inconsistent Ofsted are. So maybe it's that. I mean, I travel around the country and visit so many schools. So I know for a fact these gradings are a complete farce because there are so many schools I go into that are deemed outstanding, which you couldn't pay me enough to work in such a toxic environment, whereas other schools that Ofsted deem inadequate are actually going above and beyond for the students in their context. Looks like later on this week on Thursday, the government will publish its response into the inquiry into the school inspectorate by MPs, which was obviously undertaken after that tragic news around Ruth Perry. Just very quickly on the Ruth Perry case, can we stop using language like that, likely? It wasn't likely. The coroner's report stated it did contribute to her death. Not likely, it did. The question on everyone's lips is, what are they going to replace it with? And can we have confidence that the government, who over the past 14 years have showed they don't care at all about teachers, are going to come up with a system that actually supports and helps? Probably not. I mean, Gillian Keegan has on a number of occasions said the one-word judgments can't be scrapped because they give parents clear and simple information about the performance of their child's schools, which I think is an insult against parents, to be honest. I think what these judgments do is just give those lucky schools who get a fair inspector, giving them a fair crack at the whip and get a decent outcome, to then just boast with all the banners here, there and everywhere, which does nothing but give Ofsted the credence, the power it doesn't really deserve, which then obviously hikes the house prices up in the local area. I mean, we've only got to look at what Wales now do. So in Wales, they don't have Ofsted, they have Estyn, and for a number of years, this was before the tragic case of Ruth Perry, Estyn decided that they don't need to reduce a complex machine like a school to one-word judgment, and instead will inspect and write a report that highlights the strengths and areas for development. And working with a lot of Welsh schools over the past couple of years, that seems to be working really, really well and isn't having any sort of impact on what parents think, because the parents that are interested will then read the report. Obviously, Ofsted have still got their big listen on the go, so you're more than welcome to fill that in where you can get your voice heard. I mean, I made a video about this before. I read through those questions. I think they're very leading towards sort of justifying what Ofsted do, not really asking the biggest questions. But I think there's a box at the bottom where you can sort of suggest and say other things. But look, I would very much welcome getting rid of those one-word judgments. I hope they can then bring in a system that's similar to Wales, because from what I'm hearing, working with schools in Wales, that's definitely helping there. But I want to make it clear that would not be the solution to all the problems with Ofsted. It'd be a step in the right direction, but there are so many other reforms that need to happen. Mainly, how are we making sure that these inspectors are held to account as well? They're holding us to account. Obviously, we have to be held accountable with the job that we do. But at the minute, they can make those judgments without any accountability. They can come into a school, they can write a school off, they can be subjective, not even follow their own inspection guidance, and then there's no consequences for the detrimental impact those snap judgments can then have on a staff, a school, and obviously the teacher's well-being.